Hello students, welcome to Math Notespedia. Hope all are you doing well. यहाँ पे हम लोग स्टार्ट करने जा रहे हैं लेक्चर 7 ऑफ आवर कोर्स बेसिक टू एडवांस लेवल रियल एनालिसिस. इन दिस लेक्चर हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे प्रीवियस ईयर्स क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम बोथ जैम एंड नेट. In this course, our aim is to solve PYQs after discussing the concept of each topic in details. हमारा जो फुल कोर्स है वो 4 पार्ट पे डिवाइड है. पार्ट 1, पार्ट 2, पार्ट 3 एंड पार्ट 4. इन ईच वीक ट्यूसडे, थर्सडे, सैटरडे एट 7 PM आप लोगों को लेक्चर मिल जाएगा. द फुल सिलेबस पार्ट 1 पे कवर होगा फंक्शन, रियल नंबर सिस्टम, सीक्वेंस सीरीज, कॉन्टिन्यूटी, डिफरेंशिएबिलिटी. पार्ट 2 पे कवर होगा रीमान इंटीग्रल, टोपोलॉजी ऑफ रियल नंबर्स. पार्ट 3 पे कवर होगा काउंटेबल, अनकाउंटेबल सेट. एंड पार्ट 4 पे कवर होगा सीक्वेंस सीरीज ऑफ फंक्शन एंड फंक्शन ऑफ बाउंडेड वेरिएशन. पार्ट 1 एंड पार्ट 2 आर फॉर जैम एंड नेट, एंड पार्ट 3 एंड पार्ट 4 आर फॉर ओनली फॉर नेट एग्जाम. करेंटली हम लोग पार्ट 1 पे है, जहाँ पे हम लोग ऑलरेडी फंक्शंस एंड रियल नंबर सिस्टम को कवर कर चुके हैं. अभी हम लोग सीक्वेंस पे है. इन द लास्ट लेक्चर विच वाज लेक्चर 6 हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया था सब सीक्वेंस, लिम्प सूप एंड लिम्प इंक के बारे में. वहाँ पे हम लोग देखे थे सब सीक्वेंस क्या होता है, बोल्जानो-वेस्टर्स थ्योरम क्या होता है. उसके बाद यूजिंग दिस हम लोगों ने लिमिट फाइंड किया था. उसके बाद देखा था कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ लिम्प सूप एंड लिम्प इंफ एंड वेरियस एग्जाम्पल देखा था हाउ टू फाइंड लिम्प सूप एंड लिम्प इंफ. एंड फाइनली हम लोगों ने कॉची सीक्वेंस डिफाइन किया था. इन टुडेस लेक्चर हम लोग यहाँ पे जैम एंड नेट के प्रीवियस ईयर्स क्वेश्चन देखेंगे. टोटल 13 क्वेश्चन हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. सो बुक आप लोग फॉलो कर सकते हो. रियल एनालिसिस बाय एस.के. मापा, मैथमेटिकल एनालिसिस बाय मालिक अरोड़ा, रियल एनालिसिस बाय बाटले एंड सॉबर्ट. अगर आप लोग जो जो लेक्चर में कवर होगा उसका नोट चाहते हो तो आप लोग इस वेबसाइट्स हमारा वेबसाइट www.mathnotespedia.in से डाउनलोड कर सकते हो. लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा. आप लोग हम लोग व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप भी ज्वाइन कर सकते हो इस लिंक को क्लिक करके. एंड फॉर एनी क्वेरी और डाउट यू कैन मेल मी एट mail@mathnotespedia.in. I will try to solve your doubt. So let's start today's lecture. So दोस्तों हम लोगों का आज का पहला क्वेश्चन है कि दो सीक्वेंस दिया हुआ है an एंड bn. हम लोगों को फाइंड करना पड़ेगा ये कॉन्वर्जेंट एंड बाउंडेड होगा कि नहीं. द फर्स्ट सीक्वेंस इज वेरी बेसिक्स. हम लोग लेक्चर इसके प्रीवियस लेक्चर सीक्वेंस में हम लोग डिफाइन किया था कि लिमिट 1 + 1/n टू द पावर n क्या होगा, u होगा. दिस इज स्टैंडर्ड सीक्वेंस. सो दिस सीक्वेंस इज कॉन्वर्जेंट. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट bn. ऑब्जर्व दैट कॉस के अंदर जो कुछ भी है वो मैटर नहीं करता. कॉस एक्चुअली एक बाउंडेड सीक्वेंस होता है. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी कैन राइट -1 lesser equal to cos something lesser equal to 1. Now if you multiply both side by n, then you will get -n lesser equal to n cos something lesser equal to n. Now both this -n and n goes to infinity. So by sandwich lemma we can say this sequence also will goes to infinity. That's why this sequence bn diverges to infinity, and from this we can say that bn is unbounded. Okay, because we know that a sequence bn is unbounded if and only if it is diverges to infinity. So as it is diverges to infinity, it is unbounded. So that's why C convergent and B unbounded is the correct option. The next question is from JAM 2020 MCQ, which we have a given sequence Sn and उसको monotonically होगा कि नहीं and convergent होगा कि नहीं पूछा है. Now this sequence Sn is this Sn is equal to, now in this sequence we know that -1 is a bounded sequence which is bounded by -1 less or equal to 1. Now if you multiply both sides by 1 by n, then you will get -1 to the power n by n less or equal to 1 by n. Now both this goes to 0 and this goes to 0. So by sandwich lemma this will also goes to 0. So this limit actually goes to 0. So as a whole Sn goes to 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. So here Sn converges and converges to 1. Now observe that the sequence -1 to the power n is an oscillatory sequence which oscillate between -1 and 1. That's why -1 to the power n neither increasing neither decreasing, and this will make you the sequence Sn is also oscillatory, and hence Sn neither increasing nor decreasing, and hence this option is the correct option. So C is the correct option. The next question is from JAM 2022. This is an MSQ, that means more than one can happen. Now in this question we given a set P n such that xn greater than xm for all m belongs to n with m less than n. मतलब उन सारे n को हम कंसीडर करेंगे जिसके लिए m ग्रेटर देन n के लिए xn ग्रेटर देन xm होना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. नाउ यहाँ पे दोनों केस होगा फाइनाइट एंड इनफाइनाइट. सो लेट अस सी व्हाट हैपन इफ p is finite. Now if p is finite, then observe that this will true only for finite number of n, only for finite number of n. That's mean for infinite value of n, we have the converse relation m greater than n but xn lesser equal to xm. Okay, and that means xm greater equal to xn. That means this is an increasing sequence definition. So when p is finite, after a certain stage, that means after finite number of values, for infinite values there will be increasing sequence. So it have a subsequence which is monotonically increasing. That's why B is the correct option. When p is finite, A is the correct option. So when p is finite, A is the correct option because then xn has a monotonically increasing subsequence. Okay. Now if p is infinite, अगर p infinite होगा, in that case observe that for infinitely many values this holds m greater than n, for infinite m greater than n but xm less than xn. What that mean? This means xn is decreasing. So when p is infinite, then it will have a monotonically decreasing subsequence, and hence C is the correct option. So here A and C are the correct options. The next question is from JAM 2019, which says that the greatest lower bound of our set. We have already learned in this lecture what is greatest lower bound and how to find it. Now for this, let us try to find the limit of this sequence. Okay, so here observe that E का जो वैल्यू होता है वो 2.71 समथिंग होता है. ओके, so we can write 2 less than E. Okay, less than 0. Okay, then 2 to the power n less than e to the power n less than 0. Now if you add e to the power n both sides, then you will get e to the power n less than e to the power n plus 2 to the power n greater than 2 e to the power n. हम लोग e to the power n both side add किया. Then if you take 1 by n in each side in the power, then you will get e to the power n plus 2 to the power n to the power 1 by n is less than 2 to the power 1 by n e. Now if you go n tends to infinity, then you will get this sequence is e, and this sequence 2 to the power 1 by n goes to 1, because x to the power 1 by n goes to 1 for x greater than 0 as n tends to infinity, and this goes to e. So both these and this goes to e. So by sandwich theorem this will go to e. So we can write that the limit of the sequence is e, and hence all the values of this will be lesser equal to e. Okay, from this also we can see that this sequence is lesser equal to e, and hence the greatest lower bound is e, nothing but the e, and hence e is the correct option, or you can write 2.71. Okay, now the next question is, given a sequence an, we have to say an is convergent or bn is convergent. Bn is an by n. Now observe that like the sequence minus 1 to the power n, this is minus 1 when n is even and 1 when n is odd, and this is also the like same sequence, like similar sequence when n is equal to 1 n is prime, and minus 1 when n is not prime. खाली odd और even को prime और not prime से replace कर दिया है. So this sequence actually bounded but not convergent. As this sequence is not convergent, so n is not convergent here. Okay, now if you define bn is equal to n by bn is equal to n by n, then as n is bounded and 1 by n tends to 0, bn will goes to 0. That's why n is not convergent but bn is convergent. So C is the correct option. Now the next question is from csir-net 21, which about the sequence n we have to find lim-inf and lim-sup. Okay. Now observe that the term -1 to the power n. So here two possibilities, n is equal to even and n is equal to odd. Now when n is equal to even, we can assume 2k. So a 2k क्या होगा, 3 plus 5 minus 1 to the power 2k by 2 to the power 2k plus minus 1 to the power 2k 1 by 4 plus minus 1 to the power 2k 2 by 2k. So by simplifying you can get 3 plus 5 by 2 to the power 2k plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by k. Okay, because -1 to the power even number is 1, and if you go to n tends to infinity, then this will goes to 0, this will go to 0, so you will get lim k tends to infinity a 2k is equal to 3 plus 1 by 4, okay, which is nothing but 13 by 4. Now similarly, when n is odd, we can similarly apply the apply to find so here when n is odd 2k plus 1, then a 2k will give you 3 minus 5 by 2 to the power 2k plus 1 minus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 2k plus 1, 2 by 2k plus 1. So this will give you, as n tends infinity, a 2k plus 1 is 3 minus 0 minus 1 by 4 minus 0, which is 3 minus 1 by 4 is equal to 11 by 4. So the set of all subsequential limit is s is equal to 11 by 4 comma 13 by 4, and infimum of the set is 11 by 4 and supremum is 13 by 4. So lim inf होगा यहाँ पे 11 by 4 and lim sup होगा 13 by 4. Okay, that's it. Hope you get it. Now the next question is, given a sequence an of positive real numbers L limit n tends to infinity n plus 1 by n, then पूछा है which of the correct option. Now this is famous ratio test of sequence. If this limit L n plus 1 by n less than 1, then we know that limit n is equal to 0. Okay, so if L less than 1, we can say the limit is 0. So D is the correct option. Now this question is from 2019. The question asked is a1 is equal to 1 and an plus 1 is defined by an plus an square. Then पूछा है which of the correct option. MSQ मतलब 2 से ज़्यादा correct हो सकता है. Now as we have asked to find a4, हम लोगों को हर एक एलिमेंट चेक करना पड़ेगा. So a4 क्या होगा, यहाँ पे अगर n is equal to 3 पुट करते हो, so you will get a3 plus a3 square. Now take a3 common, then 1 plus a3. Now a3 क्या होगा? a3 होगा, अगर n is equal to 2 पुट करते हो यहाँ पे, so a2 plus a2 square. Okay, and this will give you 1 plus a3. And अगर a2 कॉमन लेते हो तो a2 हो जाएगा 1 plus a2, 1 plus a3. Again from a2 we can get a1, 1 plus a1 is equal into 1 plus a2 into 1 plus a3. So we get this. So A is the correct option. Now 1 by an के बारे में पूछा है and an के बारे में पूछा है कि लिमिट क्या होगा. Now observe that this sequence is increasing and it also unbounded. Why it is unbounded? Because a1 क्या होगा? a1 is equal to 1 and a2 क्या होगा? a2 होगा 1 plus 1 square is equal to 2. a3 क्या होगा? a3 होगा a2 plus a2 square, मतलब 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. So this sequence is continuously increasing and there is no upper bound. So this sequence is unbounded. Okay, unbounded and tends to infinity. So we can say limit an is equal to infinity. So that's why D is not correct. And hence from this we can say limit 1 by n is equal to 0. So B is the also correct option. So A and B is the correct option here. Okay. Now the next question is from NET 2020 June part B. Now यहाँ पे पूछा है if n to n is a bounded function, then which is not correct? Lim sup fn belongs to n, lim inf fn belongs to n, and lim inf n sup fn plus n पे होगा कि नहीं. Now fn n belongs to n and fn also belongs to n, so fn belongs to n, that means fn something like -1, sorry -1 तो नहीं होगा, 0 1 2, sorry 0 भी नहीं होगा. So as fn belongs to n, so a1 2 fn इनमें से कौन सा होगा? कोई एक होगा, 4 5. So lim sup fn must belong to n and lim inf fn भी n पे belong करेगा. इनमें से कोई एक lim sup inf हो सकता है, ठीक है. So 1 and 2 are correct option, लेकिन यहाँ पे बोला है कि which is not true. Okay, so 1 and 2 are true. Now if you observe C, observe that when you apply lim inf n tends to infinity fn plus n. Now if you consider this function n, this is unbounded. The function gn is equal to n is unbounded, so it will does not have any infimum or supremum, lim sup or lim inf. Okay, lim sup and lim inf इसका exist नहीं करेगा. So that's why we can say lim sup and lim inf तो सम का n पे नहीं होगा, ठीक है. This does not lim sup or lim inf does not belongs to n because this function n is unbounded. So C is option 4 is also true. So यहाँ पे as not correct बोला है तो 3 is the correct option. Okay. Now the next question is very easy. यहाँ पे xn given है and हम लोगों को yn का लिमिट पूछा है. सो yn यहाँ पे क्या है, yn इज इक्वल टू e to the power 1 minus n to the power 1 by n, because n xn is given. Now we know that limit n tends to infinity n to the power 1 by n is 1, so lim yn क्या होगा, e to the power 1 minus 1, so that's why e to the power 0 is equal to 1, so limit yn हो जाएगा 1 is the correct option. Now the next question is, n is defined by 2 plus this when n is odd and 1 plus 1 by 2 to the power n when n is even. Now पूछा है supremum of that set, infimum of that set, lim inf, lim sup के बारे में पूछा है क्या होगा, ठीक है। Now observe that when n is odd, that means if you take n is equal to odd, then n is equal to 1, 3, 5, 7 ऐसा होगा. So if you take n is equal to 1, then a1 क्या होगा, a1 हो जाएगा 2 plus 2 to the minus 1 to the power 1 minus 1 मतलब 0 by n minus 1 to the power 0 मतलब 1 by n, 1 by 1 is equal to 1 is equal to 3, a1 हो जाएगा 3. a3 क्या होगा, a3 हो जाएगा 2 plus minus 1 to the power 3 minus 1 by 2 by 2 is equal to 1 by 3 मतलब 2 minus 1 by 3 is equal to 5 by 3. Okay. Now when n is equal to even, so when n is equal to 2, so a2 क्या होगा, 1 plus 1 by 2 to the power 2 मतलब 1 by 1 by 4 मतलब 4 plus 1 5 by 4. Okay. So the sequence, if you observe, the highest element of the sequence is 3, then it is decreasing. This is 5 by 4 and then 5 by 3. Okay. So from here we can say that the supremum of the set is 3. Okay. So C is not correct क्योंकि यहाँ पे supremum of the set n, sup n such that n belongs to n, we have got is 3. So C is not correct. Now if you think about n tends to infinity, then this will goes to 1 and this will goes to 2. So as a whole 1 will be the greatest lower bound, GLB or infimum. So that's why infimum of that set n belongs to n will be 1. Okay. So here A is the correct option. As this is MCQ, we don't have to check for B and C. A is the correct option. Now in JAM 18, here is given Sn is equal to 1 plus 1 by factorial 1 that, then which of the following is true? क्या a q पे true होगा, क्या a Sn कॉची होगा, इसके बारे में हम लोग आस्क करेंगे, ठीक है। Now this is an well-known sequence. Remember that actually this is an sum 1 by factorial n. So this sequence Sn, actually n is equal to 1 to infinity, we can write Sn as like this. So this sequence actually converges to E. Okay, this is an infinite series which we will learn in the next lecture. This converges to E, so this sequence converges to E. and E is an irrational number, so Sn converges to Q is not right. But here things to observe that as it is convergent, we know that a sequence in real number set R is convergent if and only if it is Cauchy. Okay, so as it is convergent, it will be Cauchy. So Sn is a Cauchy sequence but does not convergent in Q. So B is the correct option. Okay, B is wrong and C will also wrong because it is an MCQ question. Okay. Then the next question is the last question, which from NET 2022. Here we have to check for lim sup n is equal to minus lim inf n for all this sequence, which will be correct. The first question is that lim n is equal to 1 by n, as here n goes to 0, so both lim sup and lim inf 0 हो जाएगा, so this will valid for 1, so 1 is the correct option. Now for 2, observe that if n is equal to even, a 2 के अगर ले लेते हो तो हो जाएगा 1 plus 1 by n and it goes to 1, and a 2 के क्या हो जाएगा, 2 के plus 1 क्या हो जाएगा for odd. So for n is equal to odd, a 2 के plus 1 will be minus 1 plus 1 by n, and this will give you minus 1. So for again this holds, lim sup क्या होगा यहाँ पे, lim sup हो जाएगा 1 and lim inf हो जाएगा minus 1, so this relation also hold for the second option. Now for the third option, similarly you can check lim sup हो जाएगा, we have already proved this, lim sup हो जाएगा 1 and lim inf हो जाएगा 1, because this sequence goes to 1, as the limit is 1, so both lim sup and lim inf हो जाएगा 1. Here this does not hold. Okay. Now here पूछा है कि n is the enumeration of all the rational number in -1 1. So -1 1 के बीच में कितनी भी rational number है उसका एक सेट यहाँ पे लिया हुआ है, यहाँ पे -1 and 1. Now observe that 1 is the upper bound of this sequence and -1 is the lower bound of this sequence. So if lim sup in lim inf exists, then lim sup will be this will be lim sup and this will be lim inf. So here also this property holds, because here the sequence is bounded by -1 1 and it may converge to -1 and 1. Okay, so that's why A, B and D is the correct option. That's it for now today. Here we have to stop now. In the next lecture we will start the series of real number introduction. Okay, till then, goodbye.